Welcome to Bloodbath & Beyond. Today we review Howl. Last train, full moon, all change.
Directed by Paul Hyett, starring Ed Speleers and Weston, Howl is about a group of passengers on a train who are attacked by a werewolf-like creature, and they all must band together to survive until morning. What do we like about this movie?
I was a big fan of how the whole movie kind of played out as far as like the set, the location. We don't often see movies that are set on a train. It was a relatively small set, but you have like a ton of actors.
The small confines actually, I think, enhance the movie. So, like, for example, they leave the train, and we were actually kind of disappointed. We're like, we want them on the train because it's interesting. You have this werewolf on the outside, and it's like, how are they going to survive in the small confines, and how are they going to get along? So I think it actually really added to the story.
You just have like a bunch of different people working together for the same goal, which never happens.
They're in a small space, so you have people who are freaking out because it's like getting claustrophobic. There are people who stand up and talk rationally. There are people who are just, stressed because, they have to survive. So they played well, and I think the actors portrayed the characters well as well.
Especially with the roles of dominance, you have, say, the alpha male played by Elliot Cowan, who's Adrian, constantly battling with Joe, played by Ed Speleers.
Joe has like a nice overall arc. So he starts off, he's passed over for a promotion, and he's just kind of like this pushover, he's too nice of a guy, and he develops into this like hero character. It was well done. It was like a nice progression for him. And then the other character, Adrian, was just the perfect douchebag.
Oh yeah.
Right? And just completely selfish, and it's like, you kind of understand he wanting to survive, but then they did this perfect thing where it's like, okay, you've crossed the line, and now you're just an asshole.
Horror movies kind of play with this idea a lot, but they really made him a bigger asshole than you've seen in other horror movies. The creature design.
So the body was typically like a werewolf, but instead they went more human with the face, which I think is going to be off-putting to some.
I agree. The actual blood, though, they have gallons and gallons of blood in this movie. The practical effects in this film are great.
What didn't we like about this movie?
Now, we touched on this in our likes about the creature design, and well, the special effects and like the costume looked great. I just thought it looked weird. I'm used to having a snout on a werewolf. And I know that they're trying to not be werewolves, they're creating their own kind of creature here, but it just seemed really weird.
Yeah, it was an odd choice. I agree. What I didn't like was it had the same like horror movie convenient things. No spoiler here, but the train shuts down and they're stuck on the tracks. The driver is missing, and now all of a sudden, obviously, their cell phones don't work. The radio's shifty. It just felt a little too convenient, and it happened pretty fast. We didn't really get the character play at the beginning. I thought we were going to get more interaction when it started.
And I think that's going to be a like for a lot of people, but also a dislike, because you want to get into the film. You want to get the action going. But at the same time, this is the kind of movie where you're not expecting that, and so you wanted to know everything about these characters. Instead, we have Joe just checking tickets, and we can get a glimpse of everybody's personality, and then, okay, now we're in here. And we don't really have any conflicts with people until they're put into the major conflict with the werewolf. In turn, because we didn't get that character development off the get-go, it slowed down the movie halfway through. Of course, we need our valleys and peaks, but it got really, really dry when we've already been exposed to the carnage of a werewolf, like, killing people. And there's, like, bad shit still happening on the train, and it seemed like that's when everybody wanted to start talking with each other. And it would not have happened in a real-world situation, assuming werewolves were attacking you.
No, I actually really agree with this. We know they should still be being attacked at this point, and it's just like, why is there this pause? There's nothing they really did that would stop them from constantly being attacked. So it's just like, now wasn't the time. It rather have been at the beginning. It's time for our final thoughts and ratings.
Howl was a unique take on the werewolf style film. It was really neat to see so many characters in such a small location trying to deal with a werewolf attacking them. The special effects were fantastic as far as the practical effects and actually the makeuping on the creature, but the creature design was a bit awkward and I didn't love it. I also had an issue with a little bit of the pacing because towards the middle part of the movie, it gets really, really slow. I wanted more action there. I would have rather had that character development towards the beginning of the film as we build up to the climax. But in any case, I'm gonna give this 3.5 Maniac Nerds out of 5.
I agree with Jay on a lot of points. It was a unique take. The train was well served for a werewolf movie. We don't get a lot of werewolf movies these days, so it was a nice, refreshing movie to see. I think the characters were actually smart in this movie, which really helped it. The story, again, it did drag, and that's my main negative against it. The werewolf itself, it wasn't impactful, and it just didn't feel like it was this beast of a thing. Overall, if you are a werewolf fan, I think it's a decent movie to watch. So I'm gonna give it 3 scary chihuahuas out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film. If you haven't seen it, check out the link in the description. While you're there, you can check out bloodbathandbeyond.tv, our website, which is now up and running. And we've got some great writers over there, so check that out. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated with more reactions, reviews, and games of What Would You Do.